certificates, full-priced experience.
Insight 24/7. News now.
Chicago.
From ABC News, I'm Joan Bennett. U.S. and NATO forces have launched a new offensive against the Taliban in southern Afghanistan. Operation Dragon Strike, involving the 101st Airborne, began several days ago with air and artillery strikes in places that neither the U.S. nor Afghan government has ever had a presence. ABC's Miguel Marquez embedded with U.S. troops.
Every time they've gotten close to this area in the last 5 months since this unit has been here, they've come under attack. Now, it seems, because of the overwhelming force they came in with, the Taliban has disappeared, at least for now. They haven't had any contact today so far.
The aim is to cut off militants' supply routes in the region. In Sweden, a Canadian citizen of Pakistani origin is in custody after a Pakistan-bound plane was forced to make an emergency landing in Stockholm because of a bomb threat. No explosives were found on the plane. Lindsay Lohan is out of jail and sporting a new ankle bracelet, free on $300,000 bail in a probation violation case. L.A. County Sheriff spokesman Steve Whitmore says Lohan's release last night was a result of a second judge's ruling yesterday.
The attorney appealed that to another judge, and that judge said no, she can post bail.
Lohan's due back in court next month on charges she violated her probation by failing drug tests. Air Force Major Margaret Witt says she's thrilled to have a chance to return to her old job after a judge in Washington state ruled that her 2004 discharge under the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy was unconstitutional. ABC's Hannah Scott in Tacoma with more on the judge's thinking.
He said her being openly gay did not hurt her unit's cohesion, morale, or effectiveness. In fact, what he actually said was the fact that she got kicked out of the military for being openly gay. That is what hurt her unit and the military as a whole.
The major was a medal-winning flight nurse. You're listening to ABC News.
I've been hearing that Toyota is going to offer some really amazing deals soon. Well, I know a great opportunity when I hear it, but how can I tell when specifically is the best time to buy and take advantage of these deals?
Presenting Toyota's Now's the Time sales event.
It's not like somebody's just going to come out and tell you.
See, now is the time. Now. The great deals are happening now. Right now, at your local Toyota dealer, you can lease a new 2010 Prius for $219 a month for 36 months with $19.99 due at signing, plus taxes and fees. Plus, get $750 cash back, enough to cover your payments through the end of the year. Or choose 0.9% APR financing for 60 months.
Figuring out when I should buy. That's the trick.
Yeah, that would be now. Visit your local Toyota dealer to learn more. Offers end October 4th.
0.9 APR financing for 60 months with $1,705 per $1,000 borrowed. Lease and APR on approved credit from Toyota Financial Services. Call 1-800-79-TOYOTA for lease details. Cash back from Toyota Motor Sales USA Inc. Offers may vary by region. See participating dealer for details.
Sarah Shord got her wish to meet with Iran's president in New York yesterday. ABC's Aaron Katursky.
Since her release earlier this month, Sarah Shord has wanted to ask President Ahmadinejad personally to free the other two American hikers. And just before his departure from New York, he granted Shord and her mother an audience.
He was very positive, and for me, it was a very human encounter, very personal.
She did not disclose many details, but Shord said she pleaded her case to release her fiancé, Shane Bauer, and their friend, Josh Fatal. Aaron Katursky, ABC News, New York.
A Georgia death row inmate who tried to kill himself before the state could do it for him is again scheduled to die Monday evening. The latest from ABC's Hillary Barsky.
Georgia Supreme Court has delayed the execution of Brandon Joseph Rode, who attempted suicide with a razor blade shortly before his initial execution date this week. He is now scheduled to receive a lethal injection Monday. Rode slashed his throat and elbows hours before he was slated to die, requiring hospitalization. The 31-year-old killer was convicted in 2000 of the triple murders of a trucking company owner and his two children during a burglary of their Central Georgia home. Hillary Barsky, ABC News.
Turn in your unused drugs. Police departments and other agencies nationwide running a drug take-back program today, collecting expired or unwanted prescription drugs that could fall into the hands of teenagers. This is ABC News.
Look at all the cars. Lots of colored cars. Ah, there's a blue one. Isn't it pretty? Ooh, look how fast that red one's going. It's red like that stop sign. Like my jacket.
This is a 38-year-old man.
My jacket's not a car, is it? Is my jacket a car? My jacket is red, but it doesn't go fast.
he may sound a little strange to you and me. But to his 2-year-old son, who's interested in cars and colors, he makes perfect sense.
That's the sound cars make.
When you talk with your child, you build vocabulary, and learning starts long before school does. So follow their lead. Take simple everyday moments like eating dinner or just watching cars go by and turn them into learning moments.
Ooh, look, red car.
Yes, and it's moving awfully fast.
Blue car.
Yes, the man in the red car is about to meet the man in the blue car. Get himself a pretty pink ticket.
Turn everyday moments into learning moments. For more tips, go to bornlearning.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Our rain chances are rather slim here as we head through the weekend, but late this afternoon into this evening, we may see a spotty rain shower or two with a little bit of moisture sneaking in. Sunshine early will give way to increasing cloud cover through the day. Certainly breezy, cooler, only 62 for the afternoon high, down to 50 with a spotty shower early tonight. But Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, quiet as we gradually warm it through the 60s. For more weather information and constantly updated news, go to WLSAM.com. I'm Michael Palmer from the Weather Channel on 890 AM WLS.
Now, Jake Hartford on 890 AM.
Turn around, look at that. It's plump, it's juicy, it's 3 inches thick. Now, look at this sorry, miserable squashed thing. Can anybody tell me what's wrong with this picture? Anybody? Anybody at all?
I'll use small words that you'll be sure to understand, you warthog-faced buffoon.
You stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerve herder.
You dirt-eating piece of slime! You scum-sucking pig! You son of a motherless goat!
You are physically repulsive, intellectually retarded, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid. You have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell.
I don't like your jerk-off name. I don't like your jerk-off face. I don't like your jerk-off behavior. And I don't like you, jerk-off.
Take this quarter. Go downtown and have a rat gnaw that thing off your face.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. May God have mercy on your soul.
Shut up, idiot! Moron! Puss liquor! Fart smeller! You eat dog crap for breakfast, geek! You play ball like a girl!
Listen, you snot-nosed little shit. I was taking shrapnel in Quezon while you were grabbing it in your hands and rubbing it on your face.
Cheap, lying, no good, rotten, four-flushing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey shit he is!
Jake Hartford.
Good morning, everybody. It's 5:09, 9 past 5. It would make it 51 minutes before the hour of 6 o'clock. How was everybody this morning? This is the Awake with Jake show. And I don't know why I'm in a hurry. I'm going to be here till 7 o'clock. And they don't pay me by the word. Our phone number, 591-8900. You wish to text, you can. Go to 68683. WLSAM in the message, then whatever you want to say. And we have a lot we're going to get to today, including the second hour. Gary Summers from the Antique Roadshow will be in studio. Now, I don't want you running down to your basement to get your Rudy Valley records. Because if you have Rudy Valley records, you shouldn't be running. You should be carried. Oh, included today, we're going to get to, there's a war in France, which means there's a lot of people walking around with their arms up in the air. And you know how they are about deodorant, so that can't be good. Anyway, to start the show, let's go to Paul in Arlington Heights. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Jake. Well, Jake, I'm a little premature with this announcement, but it won't be the first, so I'm sure not the last time I'll be premature. On Monday, this coming Monday, September 27th, a friend of the show, Facebook friend of ours, the Awake with Jake show's very own doctor, Dr. Bob, is celebrating a birthday this coming Monday, September 27th.
Now, how do you know that?
I have mental note. I know usually when I'm heading up north to Wisconsin for the last time, you're usually mentioning his birthday, and so sure enough, I looked, and it's his birthday this coming Monday. So, Dr. Bob, if you're listening, happy birthday, Dr. Bob. He's a Renaissance man. You know, he's quite the fella. You know, being a doctor, he always finds time. If you have a message for him on Facebook, by golly, he'll always come back and answer it for you. He's a good guy. He's our doctor of the show. You got it. Now, I would like to mention the fact, I'm kind of sad you mentioned Rudy Valley, another famous singer that passed away 2 days ago, Eddie Fisher. Boy, I remember back in the day, my Aunt Mary Ann, she was a real big fan of Eddie Fisher back in the early 50s.
He used to be married to Elizabeth Taylor, right?
Liz Taylor, and he left, ready for this, he left Debbie Reynolds. I mean, look how beauty that he left. He left Debbie Reynolds to marry Elizabeth Taylor. Unbelievable.
Now, he must have been retired.
Well, I know about 15 years ago, I've been in Las Vegas once only in my life, and I went to, I think it was the Dunes Hotel.
Ah, the Dunes Hotel, yes.
Yeah, it's no longer there. And
that's where the Bellagio is right now.
Really? I know I stayed at the Flamingo Hilton. It was right across the street from there. And I saw, like 15 years ago, I saw Eddie Fisher and Al Martino on the same show. And you would think, they're past their prime. Believe me, Jake, these guys could still sing back in the day, they're past their prime, but still, they still could belt out a song. I was really pleasantly surprised. So it was a good show.
Isn't Al Martino dead, too?
Yes, he died I like to say about a year ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, I got to tell you, Vegas has changed.
Well, my dad goes there, and he says, Paul, if you don't go there maybe every 5 years, you're not going to recognize the place, how things change over there. So I guess I should go there one last time. But I don't like to fly, but somehow I have to get back out there to Vegas and check it one more time.
You know they have buses.
Well, that's how I got there the last time. I was in Scottsdale visiting my dad. We took a bus from Scottsdale up to Las Vegas. So I figure before I cash in my chips, maybe I should go in there one more time.
See, a lot of people do it the other way. They end up flying to Vegas, then they take the bus home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like in Ford, right?
Yeah.
Well, one last thing, Jake. I want to thank you for the tip on these Honey Crisp apples. You know, I thought that, they must be talking about a cereal, but then, by golly, I read it on your Facebook page about Honey Crisp apples, and when I go to work on Monday, I'm at a major chain store, and here's the display, Honey Crisp apples. I go, I'll be darned. And I mentioned to the produce manager, I go, I've heard good things about these apples. Well, the man was kind enough to come out, and he had one slice up for me, and I tell you, Jake, those got to be the best apples I've ever tasted. No doubt about it.
That's why Oprah loves them.
Is she the one that started the bandwagon on him?
And she loves them. And this year there was the competition between her and Greg Alexander to get the first Honeycrisp. And I talked to somebody up in Michigan 2 days ago, and they may set me up with some, if you know what I mean.
Very good. Well,
let me score some Honeycrisp.
The right person will send you some. All right, Jake.
Take care, Paul.
Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye-bye. Yeah, the Honeycrisp. I had one yesterday. You just don't go buy one. You have to get an estimate on one. They're very expensive. Oh, yeah. Oh. They are very and they have a short growing season. And because of the way they grow, their weight, sometimes they only get like a crop every other year. Because of the heaviness of the apple, they break the tree, and it's more than you really want to know about a Honeycrisp. You know, last week I started something on our Facebook page. If you're a fan of the Jake Hartford Show, you'll be on it. You'll know what it is. I asked, has anybody ever had a mother-in-law? Anybody ever eaten a mother-in-law? And I lived in Chicago my whole life. Well, I'm not dead yet, but that can change by the time I leave. And I never heard of a mother-in-law sandwich. It's a sandwich. Okay, all you dirty people out there, stop it. I just realized what I said. No, it's a sandwich. And I never heard about it. It's big on the South Side. In fact, there's a place that I've gone by. I don't know how many times driven by the place, Johnny O's. They serve it there. They serve it a few other places. What it is, they take a bun, a hot dog bun. Instead of putting a hot dog in there, they put in a Tom Tom tamale. In case anybody from Tom Tom Tamale is listening. And then they put the mustard on it, and then they put chili over that, and onions, and some cheese. And that's the mother-in-law sandwich. I never heard of it. A tamale in place of the hot dog. See, you learn something new every day. I learned something last week from one of the listeners. Now, here you're going to learn. I'm passing this on to you. And you'll be a better person for it. There is a lot of stuff in the news today. It depends on how depressed you want to get. Last week we gave the Dingbat Award for arrogance to Senator Barbara Murkowski of Alaska, who lost in the primary, but she announced the night before she's going to run in the general election as a write-in candidate. Good luck spelling the name. However, she continues to get the Dingbat Award, but we have a double Dingbat. The Double D Award, I like to call it, to the Republican members of the mainstream Republican hierarchy that's going to back her. Are they nuts? You know, and if the president were here, the president would say, everybody has a right to run for office. Everybody has a right to free speech. Although he wasn't too thrilled about Ahmadinejad. Say that fast after you've been drinking all night. Not that I was drinking all night, but say that fast, huh? He wasn't too happy with what he said at the UN, blaming the U.S. for 9/11, saying it was an inside job and President Bush was involved. You know what I would do if I were president? When Ahmadinejad heads home, that little ride he's going to get, you know, that escort from the hotel to the airport, I would get him lost somewhere in the Meadowlands, if you know what I mean. You've watched The Sopranos. You know what I mean. Yeah, that's what I would do. He would go. I'd kick his rear end out of this country. Interesting, though, I saw a Rasmussen poll on the people who believe that 9/11 was an inside job. On the Democratic side, 35% of Democrats think it was an inside job. That amazes me. 39% say it wasn't, and 25% don't know what day it is. 591-8900, back to your calls. It's 519 on WOS.
You're listening to Jake Hartford, 890 AM WLS.
The last election was a changing of the guard.
Get the whole story.
Now we've got to guard the change.
Here.
The government is out of control in Washington.
I really want to know, is the American dream dead?
Is this my new reality?
Homegrown terrorists. The U.S. government orchestrated the attack.
The Pledge to America starts with the preamble that reminds us.
890 AM.
This is right on the money.
WLS.
Sweet Deal Chicago.
Things start changing in September. Sports are starting up and wrapping up. Through it all, I'm still the windpipes of the Windy City. You got it. It's me, Tom Pachork for Rogers Auto Group. Being a longtime White Sox player and broadcaster, to me, the Windy City will always be a winner. Like Rogers Auto Group, famous for their no baloney, low price guarantee. Chosen Chicago's auto store, featuring Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Hyundai, and quality certified pre-owned vehicles. No reason to go anywhere else. It's all here. Savings and service together, right at downtown's doorstep. And the convenience factor will also save you a ton of time. Take it from me, TP, Tom Pachork. Get to Rogers Auto Group today. Chosen Chicago's auto store. Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Hyundai. In the New South Loop, 2720 South Michigan Avenue, and online at rogersautogroup.net.
Sweet Deal Chicago.
Rogers Auto Group, Chicago's auto store.
Nescafé Clásico is more than coffee. It is an invitation to a whole new world. A world where food is a little spicier. Dinners are served a little later and last a little longer. A world where there's no coffee, only café. Nothing captures Latin flavor like the bold taste and aroma of Nescafé Clásico. There, you're invited. Nescafé Clásico. This is not coffee. It's café.
Olivet Nazarene University. Believe. Become.
I believe a Swiss Army knife is no substitute for a socket set. I believe corn chips count as a vegetable. And I believe with the right education, I can become a person taking charge of his career.
Doable, rigorous, accelerated, convenient, applicable. These are the hallmarks of Olivet Nazarene University's School of Graduate and Continuing Studies, and they're all geared to help adult learners succeed. Olivet. Believe. Become. Call 1-877-9-OLIVET.
What if I told you buying a good used car just got a whole lot easier? And what if you could know the history, mileage, and price of that used car long before you even go to the dealership? Well, here's the answer. Simply go online and search Yahoo for Honda certified used cars. You'll see the current selection at the Honda dealers nearest you, along with the information you need to make an informed decision. Feels good to be in control, doesn't it? Okay, no more questions. Honda certified used cars. It may be used, but it's still a Honda.
AutoZone. Everyday driving can be rough on your engine. Protect it with help from AutoZone. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Regular oil changes help your engine last longer. Now at AutoZone, get a 5+ quart oil change jug of Valvoline conventional motor oil and an STP oil filter for just $17.99. Or upgrade to Max Life and a Fram Tough Guard oil filter for just $2 more. Restrictions apply. See store for details. Keep your engine going strong. Get to AutoZone today. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Learn to avoid having a financial repeat of 2008. Listen to Securing Your Financial Future with the Goldstone Financial Group. Sunday mornings at 8.
Get the news you need to know about with ABC News updates. Just minutes away on 890 AM WLS. Jake Hartford on 890 AM WLS.
523. A Saturday, the 25th of September. Just a few days left in September. September, by the way, is National Pledge Your Mate Month. So wives, you've got about 5 more days to keep running away from your mate. Then it's over. Jim, welcome to the show. You're on WLS.
Morning, Jake. How you doing?
I'm fine. Yourself?
Yeah, we used to get those tamale sandwiches all the time. They used to call them tamale boats. They would say that the hot dog bun was like the boat hole, and they do the chili and the onions and all that stuff on it.
How did they get to call it the mother-in-law?
You're the first one I've ever heard mention it like that before.
I saw it on a national TV show last week. That's what amazed me. I never heard of it before until I saw it on TV, and then all of a sudden it's like there it is.
Yeah, I haven't seen them in a lot of the restaurants for a while outside of the city, but you see them in the hot dog stands all the time. And the other thing I wanted to ask you about was this UN thing that's going on.
Yes.
With this Ahmadinejad.
Ahmadinejad, yes.
The UN, why would it be that the U.S. Embassy would walk out on him instead of staying there, let him do his little spiel, and then come back and counter everything that this guy has to say?
Because that's what they do. They walk out in a huff.
Right, and then they never get their point across.
You know what? To that group in the UN, the people that hate us are going to hate us, and the people that love us will love us, and the people that like him will listen to what he says and believe it, and it's really sad and pathetic. I don't know why the UN is still in the U.S. I'd kick them out, too.
I was going to say, it almost sounds like a useless organization.
I mean, look at back in the Iraq days with the that oil program. They were skimming money off of that. I mean, they're just bad people there right now.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I like the idea of the peacekeeping thing that they do, but all this grandstanding that they do is just getting nobody anywhere.
I mean, they have this human rights committee they put together, and you look at the countries that are around it are the ones where the biggest violations are.
Well, yeah, and then they get all the funding.
Yeah.
So they create their own problems.
All right, thank you, Jim.
Okay, thanks, Jake.
Tom, good morning. Welcome to WLS.
Jake, you're making a point that I called to make a minute ago, but I just wanted to use the first part of the conversation to address. Then they said mother-in-law sandwich associated with, what was it, hot dogs or something?
A tamale in place of the hot dog on a hot dog bun. You get chili and onions and all that stuff.
It's been so long since I've heard this because I'm 67, but many, many years ago I heard the mother-in-law sandwich was made with tongue. That's what they used to tell us. Mother-in-law, tongue.
Yeah, well.
That's what I heard. I mean, that years and years and years ago. So how that other one snuck in there, I'm not sure. But the point I wanted to make was the same one you just did. Yesterday, or the other day when I heard about Ahmadinejad getting up there again and blaming us 9/11, all this stuff.
He's a truther.
I'm just getting so tired of these foreigners coming over to the UN, which is, like you said, about as useless as you-know-what, and standing up and bashing the United States, enjoying the amenities of the country, the restaurants, the shows, whatever else they do. I think that's the only reason they come to the UN. But since they don't like us here so much, why don't we move the UN? And a nice place like Cuba, okay? That's the place where recently we heard that the older people are making money gathering up all the newspapers they can find from their basements, attics, and whatever, because there's a shortage of toilet paper in Cuba. And they're selling it to people.
Well, you know what? You shouldn't laugh because there's a story this morning. There's a shortage of toilet paper in the parks in California.
Well, that's California. I think that's part of Cuba. And then you could move it to Mexico, or you might have to make your way through the drug lords to get to the UN, or let's go to Iraq or Iran.
Hey, here's
your cars going by, it might be blown up by a suicide bomber. Let's move to one of those nice countries.
Here's an irony for you. Mexico is building a big wall on their southern border to keep the Guatemalans out.
I would wish Mexico would build a big wall around Mexico to keep everybody in. That would be the wall I want to see.
All right, thank you, Tom.
Bye.
Len, welcome to WLS.
Good morning.
What can I do for you?
I just wanted to let you know I used to work in Chicago, and there was, on Western Avenue there was a place called Fat Johnny's that had a whole menu of different odd-named things, and he also had the father-in-law, which was just like the mother-in-law. He'd have the bun, and then he'd put the tamale, then he would split the tamale, put a hot dog in there, and then he'd put the chili and the onions and the cheese on top of that. So that would be the father-in-law, and he had a whole bunch of different things with different odd names.
So he split the tamale and inserted the hot dog into the tamale.
Correct. Wow. So we just like that mother-in-law you were talking about.
So it was the father and mother-in-law.
Yes, both of them. A whole bunch of other.
We're losing you. Thank you, Len. We lost him. So thank you for that. The father-in-law, which is a hot dog stuffed into the tamale. Okay, breakfast time. It's 5:29. We're going to get more of your calls, 591-8900. The Awake with Jake show where you learn something. Every Saturday, sometimes. Back after this.
Awake with Jake. Jake Hartford. 890 AM. WLS. 890 AM.
Coming up Monday at 2 on Rowan Roper, what I promise will be a very moving interview with Thomas Wortham Sr. And we talk about the state of U.S. security with one of the nation's top terror experts. Rowan Roper, afternoons, 2 to 6, 890 AM, WLS.
This is Jake Hartford on 890 AM, WLS.
It's 5:35. Awake with Jake on a Saturday morning. Coming up at 6 o'clock in studio, Gary Summers from the Antiques Roadshow right here. Get out your antiques. Leave your wife in the bed. I don't want it. That's a joke. Okay. You heard the news. Lindsay Lohan. Who cares about Lindsay Lohan? Ahmadinejad's going to have a big atomic weapon to point at us, and we're just like talking and trying to be nice to him. Please, Mr. Dictator, don't hurt us, because we want to be loved. We're nice people. That's not going to work with that guy. And then we get Lindsay Lohan. Well, she went into jail at 10:39, and she was really. Who cares? And the Octomon, they're having a big yard sale for her today, out in California, in Orange County. If you want one of her nursing bras, I guess that's up for sale. I'm looking at the list here. A bikini that's been on the cover of some of those tabloid magazines that she was wearing, and some other undergarments. And assorted dirty diapers. A lot of those. Yeah, who cares about Lindsay Lohan? Here's what I don't understand. Follow the logic. When that guy down in Florida was going to burn the Koran, and you saw the pictures of those people in Afghanistan burning American flags, and they had the signs, "Death to America," in perfect English. And those people can't even read. They go to the sign shop. We need 24 of those number 18 Death to America signs and half a dozen of the flags. So just the very thought that somebody was going to burn the Koran drives those people nuts. Because words have meanings, right? Just like when the president was talking about the Arizona law. Well, it's racial profiling. And people get all excited about that. Well, here this nut from Iran comes here, and he just talks about how 9/11 was an inside job, and, and we just kind of yawn. Okay. Yeah, he'll have a nuclear weapon. He'll kill us. That's fine. Tell me more about Lindsay Lohan. Are we all on some sort of crazy elixir? We're just like nuts. We're in this stupid state. It just makes no sense. Russ, good morning.
Good morning, Jake. How you doing?
I'm fine.
You're talking about the mother-in-law sandwich.
Hmm.
I saw that a couple weeks ago on a travel channel. Is that where you saw it?
I saw it somewhere. Somewhere last week.
It was rated like the 6th best stuffed sandwich in the country. And I think it was at Johnny O's on the south side that they went down there to do it. But when Jim called in and talked about getting a sandwich with tongue on it,
yeah,
there is a plant called a mother-in-law tongue. And it could be anywhere from like 8 to 12 inches long and 2 to 3 inches wide. And it's got a sharp tine on the end of it that could be like, maybe as much as an inch long. And if you touch it with your finger, it pricks you.
So what do? You put it in the ground and just cover it with dirt?
Well, no, you put it in a planter and cover it with dirt, and you keep it in the house. And it's a very nice looking plant. I mean, it's just got an odd name, a mother-in-law tongue. It's pretty nice.
You learn something new every Saturday on the show, don't you?
Well, that's what I was thinking. And, you're talking about the dingbats. And, there's so many coming out of California that represent that state, and that's why I think that state's in trouble. How about this babe that chairs this committee and gets Stephen Colbert in there?
She's from California.
Yes, she is. That's what I'm saying. The only clown they don't have in Congress from California is Emmett Kelly.
I'm surprised. Nancy Pelosi yesterday said, he's an American. He has a right to do that. It's good and all that stuff. He was there in character. He was not there as just, a celebrity talking about, what it's like to work in the farm, the farmland. He was there in character. He was doing an act.
Right. What surprised me most was Conyers, of all people, at the very beginning, before he opened his mouth, he asked him to leave. He said, you want to make your statement, write it up, and leave. And he says, oh, no, I was invited by the chairwoman. He said, no, she invited me. And then... what's
Zoe Lofgren? Is that the chairwoman's name?
Nah, she's got some weird name.
Crazy Zoe?
Yeah. Anyway, she's up there, and she's smiling when the camera scanned her, and when he's doing his routine, she's smiling.
Because you know why she's smiling? Because unemployment's at 10%. We have foreclosures out the yazoo. And kids aren't learning in school. That's why she's smiling, because she has her attention. She's got the camera on her.
That's right. And that's why they ask celebrities to come in there so they can, $125,000 a pop to get a guy to come in there and do his.
Well, you know what? They didn't pay that. They didn't pay him that. I think it cost a lot of money to run these hearings.
Well, yeah, they don't pay their guests. That's like free advertising for them. One last thing, Jake, real quick. This Ahmadinejad deal, the president's got a lot of trouble pronouncing people's names. Like, he comes back to the guy that bankrupted his kid's college fund and calls him Janulis. So I have a simple way that the president can remember how to pronounce Ahmadinejad's name.
How's that?
You stuff some black pepper up his nostril, you give it a couple seconds, and then he comes out and he says, Ahmadinejad.
Bless you, Russ. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I bless you. 541-591-8900. Hey, speaking of the company you keep, did you see the story yesterday in the Chicago Sun-Times? William Ayers wants to become professor emeritus at the University of Illinois, and Christopher Kennedy, son of the late Robert Kennedy, is head of the committee at, the trustees at U of I. And he wrote a very eloquent denial of why William Ayers should not become professor emeritus. Because Ayers, years ago, wrote a book, dedicated it to the guy who assassinated Christopher Kennedy's father, Robert Kennedy. See, so people you hang with, it does have meaning at times. Mike, you're on WOS.
Morning. Hi, I just wonder, where do you go in Pakistan to buy an American flag? Is there an American flag bus? Or, I could Pakistani flag here in the U.S., I'd have no idea where to go. Do they have stores? How do they always show up with American flags?
Well, they have the combination American flag, sign shop, and fireworks display stores.
Okay, because, I couldn't figure out where to go to get one if I wanted to.
Yeah, where's the people? Where were the pictures of people burning Iranian flags since this guy was in the UN this week, huh? Anybody in the United States think of that? Why didn't I think of that? That would have been a great demonstration. I could have made national TV. I could have become a star for a minute.
And then the IRS will come after you, so be careful.
Okay, more of the Rowan Roper Show coming up after this. No, I'm sorry. I'm just joking. No, what about that? Where are the Americans protesting, burning the Iranian flags? I know there's a lot of people people that used to live in Iran were protesting in New York. I saw pictures of that. We could have done that here. Did you see Jesse Jackson Jr. last week? That thing about bring it on to the U.S. attorney? He was going to run for mayor, and I guess he figured he wanted to get that whole trying to buy the Senate seat out of the way. So the big headline, bring it on. And did you see what happened after that? This blonde came out of the woodwork, some restaurant hostess in Washington, D.C., who is his social acquaintance. Not having an affair with her. No problem there. She's a social acquaintance. It's a very good term. I got to remember that. No. Don't misconstrue it. She's just a social acquaintance. Where are you going tonight, honey? Well, I'm going out with my social acquaintance. You stay home, but I'm going out to dinner with my social acquaintance. Actually, when your social acquaintance is a restaurant hostess, you don't really have to go anywhere because you're already at the restaurant. Hey, by the way, I got quoted in Kathy Posner's blog the other day. Requoted, I guess. Because the state of Illinois has changed the lottery company. I guess they hired a private company to run the lottery. And my quote was, why don't they just have the mob do it? Because how could the state fail at gambling? Think about that. How could you blow gambling? Gambling is easy to do. People that run the gambling, you go to the casinos. Paul from Arlington Heights was talking about, the Dunes Hotel, which is gone, but now it's the Bellagio, which is an even bigger hotel. Do you ever notice all the big chandeliers they have? You know who pays for that? The gamblers. Because it's always in the house's favor. That's right. Let the mob run it. God, I remember once when I was young, I was at the Dunes Hotel. It was a Saturday morning. I went to the craps table, 8 o'clock in the morning. I put $2 down on the don't pass line, because I was even negative back then when I was a youth. And the pit boss looked at me and says, young man, this is the Dunes Hotel on a Saturday in Las Vegas. Get that $2 out of here. It's a $5 minimum. Then years later, I'd take that $5 out. I'd play at one of the Iowa riverboats. And I was considered a high roller. They wanted to comp me for the Conway Twitty show. But the mob knows how to do gambling. The state can't. The state's got to hire a private company. It's crazy. So anyway, Kathy Posner's blog, I urge you to go sign up for it, kathyposner.com, because there's something coming this week. I'm going to need your help, your votes, and all that good stuff. Anyway, 591-8900 is the phone number. Back after this in WLS.
Awake with Jake. Jake Hartford, 890 AM, WLS.
Economists may say that the recession officially ended last year.
News happens here.
I am so concerned that we are too easily duped.
First.
Is the American dream dead?
And quite frankly, Mr. President, I need you to answer this honestly. Is this my new reality?
And I am fit to be tied over this election. Totally fit to be tied. I'm driving my husband crazy.
890 AM.
This is as American as apple pie.
WLS.
I've been hearing that Toyota is going to offer some really amazing deals soon. Well, I know a great opportunity when I hear it, but how can I tell when specifically is the best time to buy and take advantage of these deals?
Presenting Toyota's Now's the Time sales event.
It's not like somebody's just going to come out and tell you.
See, now is the time. Now. The great deals are happening now. Right now, at your local Toyota dealer, you can lease a new 2010 Prius for $219 a month for 36 months with $19.99 due at signing plus taxes and fees. Plus, get $750 cash back, enough to cover your payments through the end of the year. Or choose 0.9% APR financing for 60 months.
Figuring out when I should buy. That's the trick.
Yeah, that would be now. Visit your local Toyota dealer to learn more. Offers end October 4th.
0.9 APR financing for 60 months with $1,705 per $1,000 borrowed. Lease and APR on approved credit from Toyota Financial Services. Call 1-800-79-TOYOTA for lease details. Cash back from Toyota Motor Sales USA Inc. Offers may vary by region. See participating dealer for details.
I've been telling you about Healthy Trinity for years because you can take control of your health by doing positive things. Eating well, exercising, and taking Healthy Trinity is my number one choice. Just one capsule a day, every day, for over 10 years. It's done amazing things for my body. And when you do this, when you take one capsule of Healthy Trinity, you flood your system with the good bacteria that it needs for a healthy GI tract. You can go to Natron.com. Type in my name as the promo code ROMA and see the great special offers that are available to you this month. Natron has the highest standards of quality, safety. You can always trust them. They are internationally drug GMP certified, and they offer a 90-day money-back guarantee. So call today. Speak to one of Natron's probiotic specialists. 866-462-8736. That's 866-462-8736.
Did you know American students rank 10th in science among developed nations?
1 in 5 young men drops out of school.
And when it comes to graduating people from college, we're not first. We're 12th.
America, it's time to do something. Join NBC News for a special event, Education Nation, starting September 26th. An extraordinary week for our country, our future. Only on NBC.
Need some guy time? Here's your chance with Kissimmee, Florida's Ultimate Guys Getaway Sweepstakes at KissimmeeGuysGetaway.com. One lucky guy and a friend will enjoy a 4-day getaway at Reunion Resort, including a round of golf on a Nicholas Palmer or Watson signature course, a lesson at David Ledbetter's Golf Academy, and a day of bass fishing with pro angler Terry Seagraves. For full details and your chance to win, enter now at KissimmeeGuysGetaway.com. Airfare and rental car included. No purchase necessary. Sweepstakes ends 10/27/10 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time.
Sponsored by the Kissimmee Convention and Visitors Bureau. Learn to avoid having a financial repeat of 2008. Listen to Securing Your Financial Future with the Goldstone Financial Group. Sunday mornings at 8.
The latest national news is just minutes away with ABC News updates at the top and bottom of every hour on 890 AM WLS. You're listening to Jake Hartford on 890 AM WLS.
How I wish that there were more than the 24 hours in the day. Even if there were 40 more, I wouldn't sleep a minute away. Oh, there's blackjack and poker and the roulette wheel.
550.
Fortune won and lost on it.
You're in the phone line. Stay there. We'll get to you in a second. But I want to introduce somebody who's here early, which I always appreciate. Gary Summers from Antiques Roadshow. Good morning, Gary.
Aloha, Jake. Aloha, Chicagoland.
We were just, Gary came in with a cup of coffee from Dunkin' Donuts.
I'm hiding it away from you.
Yeah, it's hard to find. What did you tell me? You're staying on the outskirts of the Loop.
Yeah, down at the Holiday Inn.
Because you can't get anything closer, because everything's filled.
Yeah, sold out town.
But no people.
I didn't see anybody. Did you?
No.
Isn't that bizarre?
And the Dunkin' Donuts are closed around here.
Well, most Dunkin' Donuts are closed early in the morning. And
why? But they're donuts. It's coffee. You'd think they'd be open.
You'd think. They're all like a little franchisees, so they make their own rules. And so it's mostly about whether they can get worker bees to come in and serve the coffee. And
but they don't make their own donuts.
No, most of the little ones don't. They make them in a special place and travel them around.
Yeah, because I've seen the big semi unloading the donuts.
Well, ever since Fred retired, they don't have to make their own donuts. It's never time to make the donuts. It's time to make the coffee.
We're gonna talk about why you're here in the studio, why you're in town, and we're gonna get people lined up on the phones. But we're gonna let you kind of settle in for here, and meet our people. Mike, good morning. You're on WLS.
Hey, Jake. Mike from Downers Grove. How you been?
How you doing, Mike?
Good to have you back on the real part of the dial.
Yay!
Wanted to talk to you about my experience with Fat Johnny's at 72nd and Western.
It's going to be a good experience or a bad experience?
It depends. The mother-in-laws come back to get you. And that's where I first had a mother-in-law on the menu. That was right across from Eddie Carosa's Baby Doll Polka Club. Ever heard of that?
No.
Oh, that was a big deal. You ask the old-timers about Eddie Carosa's Baby Doll Polka Club.
Now, Mike, let me explain to Gary what the mother-in-law sandwich is first. We got talking about the mother-in-law sandwich. I've lived in Chicago all my life. I never heard of the thing. It's you take a hot dog bun, they put a tom-tom tamale in place of a hot dog, cover it with chili and onions and cheese and all that stuff, and they call it a mother-in-law.
Never heard of it. Sounds something from Texas.
Yeah, that's Chicago.
That's right. And needless to say, it's in a little bowl type thing. The other thing, Jake, why they have to have an outside company run the lottery? You know why that is?
Why?
Well, that's how you raise campaign cash. The not-so-mighty Quinn has an election coming up. So you got to sell something or lease something or bring in a consultant because that's how you get a campaign donation.
I guess. Thank you, sir.
Good night.
It's morning.
They sold the lottery.
They sold the lottery?
They have a private company that's going to run the lottery now.
Is that good or bad?
I said let the mob run it.
Well, exactly.
How do you feel?
Isn't that the private company? How do you know that's not?
How do you know? Don't start. How do you feel at gambling?
I'm against gambling in the throw the money away process, but I'm very for gambling when it means buying something you think might be worth a lot of money someday, like an antique or collectible, which is what I buy, and that's my gambling. I mean, I've got a pile of losses, but that's not the point. I love my losses as opposed to having just a lottery ticket I throw away.
Now, you're in town for the raise money for Misericordia, correct?
No, this year it's second year in a row for Komen for the Cure.
I'm sorry, Komen for the Cure.
Yeah, my mom had a double mastectomy last year, and she's 82 and a survivor, very great, at that age to be able to go through that and deal with that. So last year we started putting all of our efforts into any kind of charity work I could do would be for the Cure Cancer, because, I mean, hell, if they can do the lottery and hand it over to an outside source and make money on it, why can't they do that with cancer?
Now, you'll be up at Plaza del Lago.
That's correct.
Up in Wilmette, which you've done now. How many years in a row? 8 years?
Seventh year.
Seventh year.
And each time I've been here with you.
Been with me no matter where I am.
Wherever you are, Jim.
Here or there, wherever.
We like you here.
And what time will you be there?
Today it's from 10 a.m. till 3 p.m. Donation of $10 or more. You're welcome to donate more money. If you got $1 million item, you're welcome to donate lots. But it's at Plaza del Lago, 1515 North Sheridan in Wilmette, the little plaza there. It gets really full really quick. So if you're going to come, please come early.
And what time will you be there?
From 10 until 3, but we have to leave at 3.
Now, who's with you this year?
Daniel Buxols, the opposite of me.
Mr. Personality.
Hey, he and I are perfect opposites. Mr. Republican, Mr. Progressive, Mr. Suit, Mr. Hawaiian Shirt.
Did he do Rose Show?
Yeah.
Did he? Now, tell me if this is true now, or is this just an urban legend that's going around in the last couple of days, that he was on Rose Show and he said nothing has value anymore, at which point Rose said, what are you doing on the show?
No, that wasn't Daniel, but I can imagine somebody might have said that. But it wasn't. It definitely wasn't Daniel.
So it's an urban legend.
No, it's very possible that, somebody hears and overhears somebody say something. Oftentimes it's funny because, you watch the blogs and you watch the spammers and you watch all that internet-y thing, and you see all these people making all these comments. Well, this guy said this guy said that. It's hearsay. They sit around listening to us. They have their little flip phones out at the events, and they're trying to catch us doing something. Nobody does anything wrong. It's just people's perception.
How many seasons have you been on Antique Show?
This is my 14th. I completed my 14th of 15. 8 Emmy nominations.
Have you ever won?
No, I'm the Susan Lucci of Emmys, of Outstanding Reality. Antiques Roadshow is going to have, 15. Well, no, we want to win 1.
Has anything surprised you? I mean, this past season, anything you say, hey, I haven't seen this before?
Oh, my God, Jake, you would love this. It's going to, I taped it in San Diego in June, and you're going to love it. It's the original laugh track machine. The machine, yeah, see the look on your face, I would have hit the little button, I would have gone,
yeah.
But it's exactly the machine the guy built to create laugh tracks. He went and recorded Red Skelton shows and Marcel Marceau shows of the audience, and then he would put them on tape loops, and he built a machine where he could push like a typewriter key and would set that loop going, and it would be laughter or applause, and it would be certain levels of applause and laughter, and he could mix them up so it would sound like you would laugh and into applause, into big applause.
Now, the guy who sold it, who brought it to the Antiques Roadshow show, I say that fast, was he the original owner?
No.
He bought it from somebody.
He bought a storage locker. This is the treasure hunting we are all looking for. He bought a storage locker for the washing machines and carpeting and everything was in it, and this gray box was in it. It's rolling gray box with a bunch of books on it that had lists of all these TV shows, starting with 1953 and ending in 1989 with Cheers was the last show that this machine was used on. It was used on every television show. He had proprietary knowledge. He wouldn't even let anybody know what was inside the gray box. He would go in, plug in an audio cable from his box into the board and say to the guys, which buttons do you want? And that was it. And for that many years, he monopolized laughter.
What's it worth?
I appraised it about $10,000.
All that for $10,000?
Well, no, the funny thing was, the guy had bought the storage locker for $600 for everything, sold everything else for $2,000, so he was thrilled, and then found out he had a treasure. To me, that's a treasure.
I know, but I think that big a treasure would be worth more than 10,000.
It would be.
It would be.
And we'll tell you why.
You'll tell us why. If you want to line up on the phones, 591-8900. If you have anything you want to know what it's worth, if it's of a pop culture nature, I don't want to hear any Rudy Valley records. 591-8900 is the number. Gary Summers from Antiques Roadshow is here. Will be with us the whole next hour with me, Jake Hartford, on WLS. Don't go away.
Jake Hartford is on 890 AM WLS.